Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 cent Switch/gaming video for this week, where I take a look at some of the stories that caught my attention and give you my thoughts and my opinion. Excuse me. And although this video will come up on Saturday, I do wish everybody a happy holidays, regardless of which holiday you celebrate, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, if I'm saying the name correctly or not, if I am saying it correctly. So, happy holidays to everyone, regardless of which holiday you celebrate. So why don't we get started with our first story? And this one has to do with, I believe it's November's NPD sales that just got released this week. And apparently it does paint some good news all around for both Sony, Microsoft, and of course Nintendo. We'll start out with the top best-selling games for November 2018 NPD. Just to let you know, this is November. So why don't we get down to there? Alright, it shows off the best-selling games in the US for 2018. And after last month's, where it was reported in October that Call of Duty Black Ops 4 was #1, apparently it's now reversed. Now, for the best-selling game of November 2018, Red Dead Redemption 2 takes the #1 spot, with Call of Duty Black Ops 4 at #2. Surprisingly, Battlefield 5 and Fallout 76, despite the controversy, managed to make it into the list at being placed at #3 or #4, although I think Young Yang, if I'm saying the name correctly, a YouTuber, did a video on even at #3, that's still not very good in any way. I'll have a link to his video. You can check it out, though. In terms of first-party games go, it appears as though 5 and 6 belongs to Nintendo, with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Super Mario Party entered in at #12. Over at Sony side, though, Marvel Spider-Man enters in at #13, with God of War, which got Game of the Year. 2018 entered in at #16. Another Rockstar game, Grand Theft Auto 5, hangs on at #19, and Forza Horizon, the Xbox first-party game, enter in at #20. According to Venture Beats, they're pointing out about Fallout 76 and Battlefield. It says, while Fallout 76 continues to face backlash from fans who aren't happy with it, they still showed up to buy the game. Fallout 76 is the 4th best-selling game of November, despite digital not being reported from Bethesda Software's published title. Fallout 76 physical sales achieved 3rd highest launch month sale in the franchise history, trailing only Fallout 4 and Fallout New Vegas. So, obviously, if what they're saying is true, it looks like Fallout 76, they're saying that it became the 4th best-selling game, although I do question the whole backlash against that game. I do question the long-term ramification that could have on Bethesda in the long run, especially with upcoming titles like Doom Eternal, Elder Scrolls 6, and Starfield as well. So I'm worried about that. Same with Battlefield 5. Given the reports of that game not selling well, despite entering at, where was it again? Entering at #3. No. It points out also Pokemon certainly did well. It says that Nintendo also launched the new Pokemon games in November, and they broke into the top 10. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee are #5 and #6 best-selling games of November, respectively. Launch month sales of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu are the 2nd highest in franchise history, trailing only Pokemon Stadium, which launched on the Nintendo 64 in March 2000's tracking period. It's important to notice that Nintendo doesn't share digital sales with NPD, so the game likely to be higher on the list. Additionally, if you combine both Pikachu and Eevee, the single game will likely place higher on the sale charts, to be exact. And it also points out that God of War obviously is doing very well. It's basically God of War returns to the monthly 20 bestsellers in for the first time since August, ranking at number 16 best-selling game in November. It is currently at number 7 best-selling game so far year to date, and according to their NPD, they're under their top best-selling game so far this year. Obviously, God of War is at number 7, with Marvel's Spider-Man at number 6. So as far as first party goes, though, Sony has 2 of their titles in there as the top best-selling game so far, with Call of Duty Black Ops 4 at number 1, with Red Dead Redemption at number 2. Going down to the best selling games for the last 12 months. Excuse me. Again, God of War is at number 8, while Marvel Spider-Man is at excuse me, at number 7, with Super Mario Odyssey at number 10, and obviously Call of Duty Black Ops 4 at number 1, with Red Dead Redemption at number 2. Although Call of Duty World War II is currently at number 3. As far as a breakdown on the top best Xbox One, PS4, and Nintendo Switch games for November 2018, it points for the Xbox One. Obviously, Forza Horizon 4 enters in there at number 10, and that's the only first-party game so far on that list. Otherwise, at the top, Red Dead Redemption 2, though. Same with PS4 in a way. Marvel Spider-Man is at number 8. Surprisingly, God of War is not on that list, so it's kind of interesting. So that's the only first-party game, at least on that list, with Red Dead Redemption 2 at number 1. Going over to the Nintendo Switch, Just Dance 2019 at number 7, and Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy at number 8 are the only only 2 third-party titles for the Nintendo Switch that made it into the top 10 best-selling Nintendo Switch games for November. Otherwise, the top of the list, which pretty obviously is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Eevee, with Mario Party at number 3, Mario Kart 8 at number 4, Super Mario Odyssey at number 5, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at number 6. I already told you about number 7, Just Dance, and Crash Bandicoot at Insane Trilogy at number 8, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle at number 9, and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze at number 10. With basically, in terms of 3DS goes, Luigi's Mansion ranks in at number 1, with Pokemon Ultra Sun at number 2, Pokemon Ultra Sun at number 3, Super Mario 3D Land at number 4, Mario Kart 7 at number 5, Super Smash Bros. At number 6, Minecraft at number 7, Detective Pikachu at number 8, number 9, Donkey Kong Country Returns, and number 10, The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. It's also pointed out, though, in terms of the sales of the systems go, according to NPD, they're pointing out that the Nintendo Switch outsold the PS4 supposedly in dollar sales. According to the article, it says, November was another big month for video game hardware. Nintendo Switch outsold the PS4 and Xbox One in terms of dollar sales, according to industry tracking firm the NPD Groups. But it wasn't just a win for Nintendo. It turns out that all 3 major systems came away feeling good for the Thanksgiving holiday. For instance, PS4 was the top selling console by units, though. For the first time in history, 3 console platforms achieved more than 1 million units sold in November month. That's the Switch, PS4, Xbox One, excuse me, each generated over 1.3 million unit sales. It's only the second time in history that any 3 platforms achieved more than 1 million units sold in the November period. The first occurred in November 2010 when the Nintendo DS, Wii, and Xbox 360 achieved this feat. It points out that, but while sales were strong for all platforms, only the Nintendo Switch saw year-over-year growth in dollar sales. Hardware's spending in November 2018 grew 3% when compared to a year ago to $3.9 billion. Significant growth in Nintendo Switch spending offset decline in spending experience across all other platforms. but the decline in hardware sales from year over year in November was likely due to Call of Duty launch in October. People who would buy a new system to play the new Call of Duty did that last month. And as you can see, that reflects in the results from 2018 so far. From a 2018 year-to-date perspective, hardware spending has increased 14% to $3.9 billion. Spending game for Xbox One, Switch, PS4, and plug-and-play devices such as the NES Classic and Super NES Classic Edition has driven growth. So the overall takeaway from all this obviously is that Red Dead Redemption 2 and Call of Duty Black Ops 4 continue to perform very well. Even though I'm not really avoided Black Ops 4, I'm glad Red Dead Redemption 2 took the #1 spot. Obviously, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, despite some people not liking it, even to so-called stories of allegations of review bombing it or something like that, obviously did very well. Mixed results for Battlefield 5 and Fallout 76. It appears as though, although those games made it into the best-selling games of November 2018, not everybody. It's been reported that it may have not performed as well as EA has hoped for, although there's always allegations of publishers sort of raising their expectation way too high to be exact. And of course, Spider-Man and God of War continue to make it onto the list. And the fact that the Switch obviously is still doing well in terms of in dollar sales and all. So overall, looks like this was a pretty good November, to be exact. It'll be interesting to see how December's 2018 NPD reports comes out, and I'm very curious to see where Super Smash Bros. Ultimate makes it, if that makes it onto the list, to be exact. It didn't make it into November's NPD, not counting the one for the 3DS, the Switch version. So it'll be very interesting to see how December was. But overall, obviously, all three console manufacturers have something to be proud of. Some third parties certainly are proud of some things, while others not so much. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to report on that report has come out about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate actually selling very well. So, excuse me. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our My 2 Cent video, and for this one we're going to be taking a look at Smash Bros. Ultimate, or at least the reports are coming out over its sales, on how much units it, I believe, sold or shipped. Now obviously the game did not make it into November's NPD 2018, which is unfortunate, but according to Nintendo, apparently they're still pleased with the game, and that it certainly has sold very well for them. In several articles, we'll start with the first one from from Gamerant.com. It's reported that, according to Nintendo itself, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has sold well over 3 million units in the US alone since its launch. That's only 11 days. This marks not only the fastest selling Switch game, but it's also the fastest selling entry in the franchise, which is a far cry from its relative humble beginning on the Nintendo 64. Nintendo has also boasted that its hardware units and dollar sales are at the highest annual total since 2011, which was during the Wii heydays and when the 3DS was launched. In terms of worldwide, according to, if I'm saying this right, GameSutra, GAMASUTRA, they're reporting that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has surpassed 5 million units sales during its first week on the shelves, according to a report from Japanese newspaper Nikkei, Nikkei. That figure includes both physical and digital sales, and would make sense given the game has already sold 4.2 million units in the US and Japan combined. Obviously, they mentioned it shipped 3 million units copy in 11 days. It also points out that the massive brawler also performed well on home soil, and sold 1.23 million retail copies in Japan during its launch weekend, another record for the series. That performance has already had a positive impact on the Switch sales, and Nintendo's hopeful the title will continue to drive hardware over the holidays. So apparently it seems as though Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is continuing to sell very well, and to a certain degree it's not surprising. The game is very popular, and it's also known that some people, and as crazy as this may sound to some out there, some people are willing to buy a system just to play one game. It sounds weird, it sounds crazy, and some people will think that's nuts, but it has happened before, and Smash Brothers is supposedly that one game that some people will be willing to buy a Nintendo system over, whether it's the Wii U or the 3DS, or in this case, the Nintendo Switch. Though I'm still a little bit iffy about them focusing heavily on Smash Brothers and Smash Brothers alone, in a way it's sort of being the push for the holidays compared to last year's, though. But nevertheless, it seems as though it's doing very well, and obviously consumers are happy about it, although there are some complaints about the whole online issue, to be exact. Some are reporting lags or anything and so forth, while others don't see it as aren't having the same problem as those who are like diehard Super Smash Brothers players. Of course, that's going to depend on your point of view on this and everything like that. But overall, it seems as though Smash Bros. Ultimate is off to a good start. It will be very interesting to see, like I mentioned when I talked about the November NPD part of this video, it'll be very interesting to see if it makes it into December's NPD charts, and it'll be interesting to see how long it stays on that chart as well. And it'll be interesting to see when Nintendo releases their financial earnings to see if this ultimately pushes to supposedly the 20 million units Switch sold that they were aiming for. I'm leaning towards having a feeling it probably will, but we'll have to wait and see until we get the official reports to come out, though. So I don't want to jump to a conclusion and say it will. I'm just right now leaning towards that, because as some of us may remember, when during the Wii U era, they basically said they were going to sell 9 million units before, I think, March 2014, if I got that right. And instead, supposedly, it was shrunk down to 2.3 million. They were off by a lot on that one. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But good that Smash Brothers is doing well if these reports are correct. And hopefully this is enough to push them to 20 million and maybe even more. So we'll wait and see. But if what Nintendo is saying is true, then good for them on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate being a hit for them. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3. And this one, we're going to be talking about Nintendo may have an issue with the European Union over a policy, in terms of refund policy, that they may find themselves in some legal trouble, so forth. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of our My True Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at a decision made by, I believe, in Europe, or a legal issue that Nintendo could be facing in Europe. Now, I'm not a PC user or anything like that, but one policy that I like that Steam has had implemented recently, though, is their refund policy, where basically I believe it's that you could if you play the game for a certain amount of hours and don't like it, you can refund the game, to be exact. And for me, I think that's a good thing, though. I think that is a very pro-consumer position, and I would like to see other similar stuff like Steam, maybe Epic Games with their Epic, their stuff that they're doing that's very similar to Steam, but might do but trying to make it look better than what Steam is. Hopefully we'll see them implement that kind of refund policy. I believe they do, but I'm not 100% sure. However, Nintendo, however, while it has their own thing, which is the Nintendo eShop, although rumors has it they might drop that name, they don't particularly have a refund policy. So basically, once you buy the game, there's basically, from what I understand, there isn't any refund policy at all, which unfortunately might get them in trouble, at least in several European countries. According to an article we'll start with the first one from Eurogamer, again, links will be in the description. It points out that, quote, the German Consumer Protection Authority, VCBM, has decided to take legal action against Nintendo over its no cancellation eShop pre-order policy. This is the crusade begun in Norway at the beginning of 2018. It was taken to Germany because of Nintendo of Europe resides there. After months of work, the VZBV, if I'm saying the name correctly, off the back of the work of the Norwegian Consumer Council has done, will go ahead with formal proceedings, according to Norwegian press site Pressfire. It's all expected to begin in 3 to 4 weeks, but could take more than a year to reach any kind of verdict. The outcome, though, could have consequences right across the European Union. It's also imagine being part of that wishful sight. The eShop policy in question is Nintendo's refusal to allow cancellation and refunds of eShop games, even pre-ordered way before release. The Norwegian Consumer Council said that this breaks European law, but Nintendo says the preloading process whereby the game can be downloaded ahead of release means it doesn't. Nintendo cites Article 16 of the European Consumer Law Directive 2011/83 in defense, which says it doesn't have to allow cancellation if the performance has begun with the consumer's prior express consent, and with the knowledge that it will lose its right to withdraw once the contract has been fully performed by the trader. But as Norwegian Consumer Council originally argued, the company plainly states that all purchases are final. According to the rights of withdrawal laid down in the Consumer Rights Directive, such terms are illegal. Until the game can be downloaded and launched, the seller cannot prohibit the consumer from canceling their pre-order, though. And I believe that according to, it basically points out that the Norwegian Consumer Council first spoke out against the policy in early 2018, but they wrote in an open letter to Nintendo. They write, according to the rights of withdrawal laid down in the Consumer Rights Directive, such terms are illegal until and basically what I just read about earlier in Eurogamer, though. Now, I don't know whether or not there will be any. I don't know whether or not there will be any legal action or not against Nintendo over this. Don't know a whole much about the procedures on this. It's how far this will go. But regardless of whether you think Germany or Norway are in the right on this or not, though, I do believe that Nintendo should have a refund policy for anybody that purchases a game through the Nintendo eShop, though. I do think people should have a right, if they want to cancel if they pre-order or preload a game through the Nintendo eShop, they have a right to cancel it. And I do think Nintendo should have a policy maybe similar to Steam, where if you play the game for a certain amount of hours or a certain amount of days and you don't like it, that you have a right to ask for a refund for that game, right? Refund of your money, though. So I certainly think that Nintendo should have implemented this policy, though. I don't know whether or not Nintendo is going to face I don't know if they're facing any legal trouble over this, but regardless of whether or not Nintendo's in the right or not, I really do believe that a refund policy should happen for the Nintendo eShop, regardless of whether you support Nintendo's position on this or not. I think that it is ridiculous that they don't have a refund policy at all, and I really do believe they should have one. And this is coming from someone who is a longtime Nintendo fan. So overall, my overall experience is, regardless, like I said earlier, regardless of what outcome comes out of this, Nintendo really needs to add a refund policy for those who purchase games through their digital servers at the Nintendo eShop. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to part 4, and this one has to do with a rapper named Soulja Boy, if I'm saying the name correctly, who is releasing his own brand of console and all that, well, might get him into some legal trouble, to be exact. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with the 4th and final part of our My 2 Cent video, and this one has to do with a rapper named Soulja Boy, Soulji, if I'm saying the name correctly, I apologize if I'm not, who is apparently basically selling consoles, but might get himself in some trouble with this. Now, I'm the last person to ask about when it comes to hip-hop or rap or anything. I got nothing against the genre or anything like that. I'm just not the biggest hip-hop or rap kind of fan, but I have heard of several artists as well. Some like iconic, like say Grandmaster Flash, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, to even ones like Ludacris as well, to either ones like Lil' Kim, I think, or the late Notorious B.I.G., to even the movies such as Straight Outta Compton, which I've heard some pretty good things about that one. I got a chance to see it, and it was really a fascinating film, to be exact, though. And so basically, so in other words, I'm not really a big huge hip-hop fan, but I've heard of several different hip-hop artists, so on, though. So it's interesting to see, interesting to hear that a rapper by the name of Soulja Boy is selling his own brand of consoles and all. Now, it's nothing new to see a celebrity or somebody endorse a certain product or anything like that. Whether you think they are a sellout or whether you think this is the right thing for them to do or not, that's open to interpretation to everyone's point of view on that, though. But the way Soulja Boy's handle it, though, might get him into some, well, legal trouble. So we'll start off first. According to comicbook.com, link in the description, it says that, quote, rapper Soulja Boy has been going hard when it comes to offering his own version of game consoles to fans, with a growing number of systems available to buy on his website. There's just one problem with his big plan. These systems aren't his to sell. Almost every single one of the offer console is a blanted knockoff of someone else, and now it looks like Nintendo has reached out about a handheld in particular, and the results could end in jail time. According to a recent report, Nintendo is going after the rapper after it was made aware that preload games on the systems are copyrighted by the Big N. Because of this, Soulja Boy could be in direct violation of the Trademark Counterfeit Act, which could see the imprisonment for the first offense up to 10 years and up to 20 years for repeated offenders. Nintendo is reportedly threatened to press criminal charges immediately. So far, the rapper has not responded to the report, nor has publicly acknowledged the growing number of accusations from both business and fans alike. And it shows some tweets from some people, though. It will be interesting to see what happens next, especially since Soulja Boy has mentioned in the past that he has big plans for his gaming goal in the future. Whether or not his growing line will eventually catch up to him remains to be seen, but if Nintendo is stepping up, it's only a matter of time before other companies follow suit. And just to make sure exactly what kind of consoles he are selling, according to what we understand, basically the consoles are basically these supposedly only available in China, the famous Chinese knockoffs and all that stuff. And supposedly he's selling one console, for example, which is called the Soulja Game Fuse, which according to another article from VG247, it points out The Soulja game Fuse is no other than the Fuse Entertainment Chinese home console, the Fuse Tomahawk F1, an Android-powered console for China. It was unveiled back in 2016, not too long after the country's console ban was lifted. Fuse even partnered with a number of publishers outside of China to bring range of AA games to the console, something Soulja Boy is touting on his website. But given that he is rebranding the console as Soulja Game Fuse, it's unknown whether he stands legal in regards to claims of having over 200 global partners and tweeting about it. The interesting thing about that is the Soulja Game Fuse is priced at $400, 307, I believe, pounds or euro, generally discounted from its usual price, $640, while AliExpress is selling it for $320. It also points out Soulja Boy wants to launch his own esport franchise. And just to be clear, I'm checking this over. The so-called AliExpress, they currently have it at price at, let's see, they currently have it priced at $309.99, so $320 to be exact. And when you go to Soulja Boy and his site, he's selling the system for $400. And if you go to his website, he has the Soulja handheld and all that stuff. The retro Soulja Boy mini, all that stuff. He has Soulja watch for $20, which looks like Chinese knockoffs and all that, which almost looks like the Apple Watch to be exact. Now, I don't know which is worse. The fact that he's taking the Chinese knockoff consoles and claiming that it's his, or the fact that they have the design or some of Nintendo's games are in these systems without Nintendo's consent, and the fact that he could face legal trouble. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Nintendo supposedly, from what I understand, according to an article from DEXERTO, they're reporting that they're reporting from a report from Cineblend is that Nintendo is currently suing a Southern California resident who's accused of modifying NES classics and adding extra games and then selling the system, which is a direct violation of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So, it's like, did anybody advise this guy? Did anyone advise that this probably is not the smartest thing to do? Taking someone else's console, rebranding it as yours, and also having games on there that you don't have permission from a company like Nintendo to have their games on there in the first place. I know that Nintendo is sometimes criticized for maybe going a little bit overboard with their copyright issues, like such as what we've seen with like anybody that posts a YouTube video of their games, although they've kind of eased on that now, which is definitely a good thing. But it just blows my mind. Like I said, I just don't know which is worse. Him using these rebrand Chinese knockoffs and passing it off as his own console, or the fact that there are games in there that he didn't get permission from companies to have in these systems. They may have had, maybe these Chinese companies had permission from these companies to put it in there, but this, I just don't know how big of a whirlwind of a trouble he could find himself into as well. Now, if he wants to actually make his own game console, team up with a company, do it legally and all that stuff, and compete against Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, then that's fine. That's free market. Competition is important. If he wants to do something like that, that's fine. But to use a knockoff console like this, I'm sorry, but I hope his agent is telling him that this is not a smart move, and it's best not to take this route and all that stuff. I don't know who's giving him advice on this. Again, this has nothing against hip hop or rap or anything like that. This is just a stupid thing that he's doing. It's a really stupid and dumb thing, and he could really find himself in a whole mess of trouble. Whether or not he could face legal ratification for this or not remains to be seen, but overall, this is a dumb thing that rapper Soulja Boy is doing. This is a really, really stupid thing. Okay, this concludes this My Two Set video for this week. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about November's NPD 2018, though? Are you pleased that Red Dead Redemption made it to the #1 spot? Are you happy with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee doing well? Do you think Fallout 76 and Battlefield 5 making it on that list means the game isn't a flop, or do you think the damage has already been done to that? What are your thoughts about the sales number of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Do you think these are good numbers? Do you think we might see the game make it into December's NPD 2018? Do you think this is going to push the Switch to maybe go 20 million units sold, maybe even more? What are your thoughts about Nintendo could find themselves in trouble in Europe over their refund policy over their Nintendo eShop? Do you think Germany or Norway are in the right? Do you think Nintendo is in the right? Do you think Nintendo should have a refund policy similar to what Steam has with their refund policy? And what are your thoughts about Soulja Boy launching not only his launching his brand of consoles, but the fact that he could find himself in legal trouble with Nintendo? Do you think this was a dumb move on his part? Do you think he got bad advice on this? Or do you think it's not a big deal? Do you think Nintendo is in the right and possibly able to go after Soulja Boy on this? Do you think they're in the wrong? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think, and I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal Me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, from Southern California, wish you all a good day then. And happy holidays as well. Bye!